Holy crap. I know this video is going to get uploaded regardless, long before anybody even shows up. But we're freaking back. Finally, after over a year of not being able to live stream on YouTube. I feel like I lost my bread and butter when it came to this. I used to love live streaming. I used to live stream constantly. Uh, oh, damn, we have another molt? Fuck, I'm about to separate you guys. Sorry, assassin bug problems. Oh, good night. You are one stage away from being an adult. I don't know. You guys can't see him very well versus that little guy. He's about double the size of this guy now. I'm worried he'll eat him, honestly, so I think I'm going to separate him. Oddly enough, I have had cannibalism happen already with these guys, so we're just going to put him into this little guy. It's already set up. A little bit of hide, a little bit of fun, a little bit of trying not to get bit by this guy because it'll hurt like hell. Get down. Good job, buddy. Alright, now you're in your new temp setup. Not going to have anybody in for a while. I haven't live streamed in a minute. So yeah, prior to the molt he just did, he was about the size of the guy that's already in there. So once he molts, I'll reintroduce him again, which won't be an issue. Look at the proboscis. Good night. That thing is kind of sharp on the tip of that head. But annoyingly enough, I had 4 of them. I bought 4. And if I'm not mistaken, I got 1 free. If I'm not mistaken. I think if I bought 3, I got 1 free or something like that, and that's why I bought them. But 2 of them have died, sadly. 1 died. I'm not entirely sure why. It was an itty bitty guy. Just an itty bitty nymph. I got them, they were like this big. I was almost feeding them fruit flies. They were that small. And then from that stage, this one right here is probably like his 4th molt since I got him. This dude is on his like 2nd or 3rd, I want to say. So he's not much smaller, but he is a little bit smaller. And with these guys, if they can overpower it, they'll kill it. And the one guy that died previous to this was molting out into this size, into his 3rd molt. And the nymph molted 1 time. And then it died. So that really sucked. And I'm not sure why it died. I was feeding it baby crickets and everything. Like, they were that small. He was eating pinhead crickets. He was freaking tiny. Itty bitty little guy. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and keep these guys separate. That might not be a smart thing to do. They might lose scent of each other or whatever the case may happen. But I don't know. I don't want to lose another one, damn it. I'm trying to breed these things in the future. There's something I've always wanted to get started. I bought 2 of them a long time ago. 4 of them, actually. Again, freaking 4 of them. I bought 4 of them. I think it was 4. And yeah, only 1 ended up making it to adulthood. The others died off. Or were eaten. Pretty sure 1 got out. But, yeah. So that means I probably have about 40 down here. If it's not already dead, which I bought from the first time I bought these. Not these guys, but the first batch of assassin bugs that I bought. And then, yeah. Yeah, I bought 4 about 40. And 4 assassin bugs. The assassin bugs were like $15 a piece. About 4 were like 50 something, 40 something, 48 a piece. I don't know, maybe my buddy Nick will remember. I went with him when I did it. I spent big that day. I spent like almost $400 on shit there. So just really quickly, since probably no one's going to show up and I got to be out of here in like the next 40 minutes anyway, and I probably don't plan on live streaming that long unless a group of people show up. I just want to show off my little sand boas molt here just so you guys get a rough idea of how big he's actually getting. I don't think he's completely this long, but I'll show him in a later video. I haven't shown him in a while, but I think what I'm going to do is roll this up and preserve it in alcohol for shits and giggles. And that's actually what I did here. This is a reticulated python shed from Diablo. This looks really cool with the light underneath it. And I'm actually getting into wet specimens again. I haven't done it for a while. These right here are 2 bichurs. They're 2 lungfish. You kind of think of a bowfin. That's what they are. They're a bowfin. They're a type of bowfin, in my opinion. They are very small. Very small. These are still juvenile. These are babies, and they're full grown. If I'm not mistaken, bichurs get like 3 feet long. We did have a sad death in the collection. This right here is a little painted turtle. Backstory on these guys. Went fishing, I want to say about 6 months ago. kind of middle of the year, not middle of the beginning of the year, give or take that time, which makes no sense, but still, you understand. Uh, Give around April, I'd say, March or April. Went to my local pond, was bass fishing, and some parents had some kids down at the pond, and apparently they disturbed a turtle nest. And the kids dug up the eggs. They were playing with them. The parents caught them, jumped their ass. I heard the parents talking about it. I came walking over. Wanted to make sure everything was okay because the parents were freaking the hell out as if one of the kids just got bit by a venomous snake or something. Like they were panicking. I asked them what was going on, if everything was okay, if they needed some help, and they proceeded to tell me about how their kids mess with some weird eggs they didn't understand. And I point out the fact that, hey, those are painted turtle eggs, or they're red ear sliders. They're some sort of basking turtle. And I consider the slider species a basking turtle because you mainly see those guys basking. You don't hardly see snapping turtles out of the water basking. They do. You don't hardly see, when it comes to soft shells, you don't hardly see them out basking. But with sliders, they're always out. We even have this weird group of turtles at my local pond. They're solid black. From tip of the nose to the end of their tail, they're coal black. I'd love to get my hands on one of them, but they're always sitting on logs and they're so far away. I always thought they were like red ear sliders, painted turtles, but they've got no designs on their neck. They're coal black. I don't know what species they are, if they were introduced or if they're just a severe crossbreeding population going on there from all the different sliders. But I really want to get my hands on one for a video at some point. I did find a dead one last year. Actually, no, this year. I found a dead one this year in the floodplains. But it was really nasty, really rotten, and this motherfucker was like this. It was huge. I thought it was a snapper turtle at first till I rolled it over and looked at the face, and the face was not a snapper. It was a damn slider. So it was really weird. It had kind of a little bit longer head, though. And no, it wasn't a soft shell or anything like that. It was like you took a painted turtle's head and you just kind of squished it down a little bit, made it a little bit more broad. It was weird. I wanted to take the head at least, but it was rotting, but yet skin was dry as hell like leather, so there was no way I was going to get any of that, and I wasn't carrying that around with me while I was fishing the rest of the day, so no. Oh, there went the shed. Come here, baby. Just throw you in here in that container, they'll eat you. But yeah, since I didn't know how long the eggs had been in the ground, could have been 12 hours, could have been 2 hours for all I know, went on ahead and decided to go ahead and collect the eggs that I found. I think there were like 10 of them that the kids had pulled out the hole. Went on ahead and buried in the rest of the hole because there were like 3 or 4 more eggs in there, so I went on ahead and just gently buried in and packed it down lightly. That area did hatch. I did end up catching a couple baby turtles coming out of that, so that's awesome. And out of the 10 eggs we brought home, only 4 of them were actually fertile. The only 4 of them had embryo growth in them within the first 2 weeks of being in the incubator. I left them in there for at least a good month, and they had no growth, so I tossed them out. They were just useless, and they began to rot and stink. You'd open the incubator box and smell it. It was nasty. But 2 of them died during the hatching process. I'm not sure why. I think they were just too weak. And no, one of them died in the egg. One of them died outside of the egg. And there were actually 5 now that I'm thinking about it. And one of them prematurely hatched. And I have no idea how this happened, but I'm going to try to explain it to you. So the way I have this set up was I had the turtle eggs inside of my little giant incubator. And I had about this much EcoEarth / peat moss. Not peat moss, vermiculite. Had it mixed up nicely, nice and damp, nice and moist. Hello, viewer. And went and proceeded to lay the eggs accordingly inside. I think I had like 8 in one and 2 in another, because I couldn't get them all in the same container. It wasn't a big container. It's literally the container one of the turtles is in now. But one of the eggs proceeded to grow and grow and grow as it absorbed moisture, and it popped. And I thought the turtle was hatching. I'm like, okay, well, we're a little early. Maybe my time's off. Maybe they've been in the ground longer than I thought they had been. And turns out the guy still had his yolk sac attached to him and everything. So I left him alone for about 3 days. Seemed like he was doing good. And then one day he started acting a little funny. There was a funk in the tank, so I had to pull him and the egg out. He was still alive, so I cleaned him off. I threw him into an artificial womb like the one they do in was it Japan or China, where they actually grew a baby chicken inside of a deli cup with plastic as the artificial womb. And he lived for about a good week and a half inside there, and then sadly one day I woke up and he was gone, so went on ahead and buried him in the backyard. But I was planning on letting these guys go, but cold weather kind of hit us hard, and this is the last survivor here. He's a cute little bitty guy, and you can tell he's a painted turtle. I'm pretty sure these are illegal to have as pets here in my state. I'm not keeping him as a pet just until warm weather hits next year. I'll let him go then, but until then, He's living not like a natural turtle. Um, he does get fish. He gets little feeder guppies. He gets bee moths. He gets crickets occasionally, very small crickets occasionally. And if I'm not mistaken, greens. There it is. I couldn't remember the other thing I was feeding him. What do you want? I don't have food. I have to go buy food. I'm out of greens. You're going to get over it, girl. Vivian is freaking out. She's down here at my hand right now trying to eat me alive. She's a little aggressive girl. So yeah, once warm weather hits, I will release him, and we'll go from there. So yeah, been a long time. Haven't live streamed in over a year because YouTube deemed me no longer suited for the partnership program because I was under 1,000 subscribers, and now we're at like 1,203. So that's freaking awesome, and we're trying to keep that going. That keep up that energy. But I'm pretty sure it's going to peter out, and I'm just going to sit there and stare at a number one day for like 3 months and just put my head down because I know that's going to happen. It always happens. But thankfully, the Bullfrog Warcry video really bumped the channel over the top. It's got like 150,000 views, 2,000 something likes, and like 80 something comments. I'm just going to say 50 comments for shits and giggles. That way, if I'm over, I'm over. If I'm under, I'm okay. But yeah. But a lot's changed. A lot's gone on recently. Got some new animals. I've had a couple passings in the collection, mainly the assassin bugs and 2 tailless whip scorpions. I cannot tell you what is going on with these. I've only ever bought one other than these 2 that I just recently picked up. And the one that I picked up, I got at the Noblesville Reptile Expo down in, obviously, Noblesville here in Indiana. And I got it from Ron Billingsley. There's a big controversy about him. I'm not getting into it. I'm not trying to start no shit. I don't really care. The dude does what he does. He's done time for what he did and all kinds of shit. And he's, got the bad reputation that he does from the things that he does on purpose that I can personally tell you because I've went, straight nose to nose with this guy before when it come to his animals. But yeah, I bought a tailless whip scorpion from him for like $24 last year. Yeah, last year. And the damn thing was paralyzed. Like, I got it home, and I spent literally like 3 weeks hand feeding it every day at B-Month. Every freaking day. Hand watering it and hand feeding it. And, I messaged him on Facebook, and I went off. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You said this animal was cool. I'm showing him the videos, sending him this, that, and he's like, oh, you fuck, you fucked up, you bought it. You shouldn't have bought it. Like, you shouldn't be selling bunk animals to people. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to go into my rant again about this piece of shit. It's just my personal opinion, even though it's the opinion of most of the other population of us here in Indiana that know him. But still, it is what it is. I mean, shit happens. Shit happens. We're trying to chalk it up. No beef. Shit happens. But yeah, it was paralyzed. Spent 3 weeks actually hand feeding it. It ended up passing away, and I buried it in the backyard also. Got a lot of weird bugs in the backyard. It's weird. It's weird. We got a lot of weird stuff. We don't really throw anything away. We bury everything. If we throw it away, then there's something weird. We never really throw anything away other than fish. So yeah. That's mainly because, the smell, nature, burying, it gets old. It does. It gets old. I forgot what I was talking about here. But yeah, I went and picked up 2 more from Underground Reptiles. It didn't cost me a whole lot. It was a good deal. They sent me a coupon and everything for, something. It was like 20% off of my next purchase. So I used it on the assassin bugs and the tailless whip scorpions. And I had them inside of this, little like 8-inch by foot-long tub. I had him on top of my dad's Burmese python, which is now over here in this glass display tank that we set up. And they were good, doing fine. Moved them over to one of my Zilla tanks over here, which are these itty bitty guys right here that you can see. And they kind of started messing up a little bit. They started freaking out on me. They weren't eating. They weren't really wanting to move right. They were sluggish, so I figured it was because they were cold. Obviously, I have a big fan facing the room right here, onto the bed. I sleep in my animal room because I have to. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah. I moved them back in the tub. They were doing fine. And then everything... Be gone, TikTok. Everything was perfectly fine. And then I had to move them out of the tub because some of the crickets that I threw in there were pregnant females that laid eggs. And a few weeks went by and the babies were everywhere. There were probably a good over 2,000, I might say. And I actually went on ahead and threw about 30 female crickets in here a couple weeks ago. 2 weeks ago at this point. And I'm just waiting to see how long the babies hatch. But yeah, put them in there and threw some crickets in there with them, cut the tails off of them so the crickets couldn't lay eggs, and went on ahead about my business, came in the next day, and found that one of the crickets had killed and was chewing on one. Now, either the cricket killed it, or the cricket was just chewing on the byproducts of the dead animal. I'm not sure which. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? I was pissed off, went off, grabbed the cricket, and I threw it into a tarantula tank. Bam! Instant done, death. Game over. Tarantula's fine, by the way. This was like almost a week ago. And so the other one was fine, running around, no big deal. Came in the next day, and it was upside down, laying on the ground. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's gonna molt. That's not how they molt. There's plenty of surface area in there for it. I even stuck this little black track that you put in your gutters to keep leaves and stuff out of them in the wintertime and the summertime. And I figured maybe he climbed up there and he fell. So I kind of just reattached his legs to it a little bit and kind of went about my day. And 2 days went by and he was just hanging there. And I pulled him out, smelled him, and he was stone cold dead. So I have no idea what happened. I'm not buying those guys again. I clearly can't I can't figure them out yet. High humidity is what they need. Warmth, little bit of darkness, plenty of hides, and plenty of food. That's what they had. That's what I gave them, and it still didn't work. Now, i.e. being the fact that they're wild-caught animals from an online website, there could have been parasites. They could have been sick, which now that I think about it, probably wasn't the best idea to feed it to a tarantula, i.e. the cricket that was eating on it, if it was parasitic. I'll wash my green bottle blue for a couple. I'll keep an eye on it better. Uh-oh. Alright, people are going out of the backyard. But yeah. So I'm just going to avoid them, and if I think I go on anything similar, I'm going to go back to the Vinegaroon. I love my Vinegaroons. Vinegaroons are so cool. I have been hit with the acid, though. That stuff kind of sucks. It's like a really, really potent vinegar, especially if it hits you in the eye. That really burns like hell. It's actually a type of acid. It just mainly eats like the keratin off the shells and stuff. Kind of makes you wonder how it doesn't affect them, though. But that's all scientific crap I'm not getting into. Which, actually, really quickly, I need to plug up. Oh, that's why I had it like this. What's up, Creamsicle? You ain't getting food, sweetheart. You're on brumation. You have to get over it. Ooh. But yeah. So I had them. I haven't had anything else pass away other than a few mantises that I picked up. They laid their egg sacs, and that was the end of their clock. I have 3 garter snakes. Had a successful pairing with them. Didn't plan for it to happen. It actually happened 3 days after I got them. Also from Underground. Underground sent them to me all 3 in the same bag. I was a little upset about that because I wanted them to at least try to separate the male from the 2 females that I picked up. That way I keep them separate for a little while. And I got all 3 of them in a bag together, so I just had to sit there in the freaking room and just stare into the tank and just see if anybody looks different, acts different, or if any breeding starts. And thankfully I did end up finding out that one of them was actually a mature male, and 2 of them are females. And one of my females, about a month after pairing, actually dropped a live clutch of babies. I had like 7 of them. Got rid of 2 of them to some friends. They're doing fine. They're happy and healthy. The rest of them sadly did not make it. They were fed every 2 days like I was told to feed them. Had warm water, had warm moisture, a lot of moisture, humidity was high, all that good shit. And I still have the adults. The male is very easy to tell. I have a video where I'm going to show you guys their tank and their setup and everything else like that. I'm going to eventually bump them up to a 20 gallon. Right now all 3 of them are 10 gallon, but they got plenty of hides, plenty of digging room and climbing room, so they're fine. But as of right now, yeah, my male, you can tell, he's got a black spot on his back. I actually thought that was one of the females, but, it's the biggest one is the male, so it's kind of funny to me. But he has tried breeding with the females a couple of times. I haven't seen any pairing happen. It mainly happens around 4 o'clock in the morning, weather depending outside, especially if it's going to, like, rain and the, barometric pressure meter's up high. Then he wants to try to get a little frisky with them, but other than that, he's just kind of a lazy noodle and just lays there. And for some reason, he hasn't been inside the hide with the girls for a couple of days, and I'm kind of confused about that because the garter snakes do great in communals. If you want to have a garter snake, I recommend getting 2 to 3 or more, and if you get more than 3, definitely have them in like a 20 or a 30 gallon, and that's what I want to put mine into. But my guys are still little. They look more like ribbon snakes in my opinion with how long they are. They're probably about a foot long each, but they're all very skinny, but they eat like crazy, so that's why I'm kind of thinking they might actually be ribbon snakes. I don't think Underground would screw me like that. I know they wouldn't, but it is what it is. But yeah, corn snakes on brumation, sand boa, leopard geckos, baby reticulated python, 14-foot pain in my ass over here that just pissed all over my floor. Bearded dragons, baby northern brown water snake, 2 betas, feeder guppies, Monostropus balfouri, axolotl, tarantula, Burmese python, tarantula. Oh, and boa. Oh my god. Probably gonna have to downsize here soon. But yeah, I got 6 out of the 8 tanks full with animals in them and lights and heat pads and all other good shit. Still gonna get a heat pad down the back. Right now I just have a heat pad sitting in the middle of the 2 top ones. That way the heat rises up and can kind of hit everybody. But yeah, Anyway, guys, with all that being said, sadly, I am going to have to pop off here. I have got some stuff I have to do. I will be back on later, probably about 5 or so. So if you guys want to tune in then, I'm more than happy to see you guys again. And hopefully we get some more people in here, and hopefully we can get the channel rolling a little bit further than what it is now, even though I'm happy as hell where we're at. Still waiting on YouTube to hit me up with that partnership program again, because last time when I hit 500 subscribers, they was on it, like as soon as I hit 500. And now I'm at 1,200, and it's been like 2 weeks, and I'm just like, hey, YouTube, you there? Hello? You know, motherfuckers will not answer their door. They've locked it and changed the locks, and they took away my key. So, can't wait to get the damn key back. Anyway, I'm pop off here. I'll see you guys next time. Now I gotta remember how I end the live streams. It's been so damn long. Hit the X button.